Okay. Welcome, everybody. I'm Dr. Robyn MacKillop with Get That GED, and today we are starting 2023 with a bang. It is time to make sure you've got what you need so you can get in and take those tests, pass, and get on with your life. You don't want to spend a lot of time on your GED because you're off to bigger and better things, whether it's completing something that you wanted to finish or getting a better job or going on to more schooling. It's important to get it. And I'm going to try to make it as easy for you as possible. I'm going to teach you how to do the math so you're not stressing during the tests. And just know that any of the tests, you're not going to know everything on them. There is no way for you to study everything you need to know. You're not going for 100%. You just want to get through that test. You want to have a good enough understanding that you can pass it easily and with as least stress as possible. This is not the thing you want to be stressed about because you've got bigger and better things to do. All right, let me switch cameras. And everyone who signed up or registered should have gotten an email. You can let me know later, or you can let me know in the chat if you did not. And I will double check to see if I missed you. I hope not. All right, let's do some algebra. We're going to start with algebraic equations. Okay, so algebraic equations are the foundation for most of the math. You will have these obviously in algebra, but also in geometry when you're doing the formulas for surface area, volume, area, it happens. And you'll find that the more comfortable you are with equations like this, the easier all math is going to be because these are everywhere, not just algebra. So when you get an equation like this, you're looking at a variable, the letter, that's just a variable. It just means there's a number that it's representing. You don't know the number yet. You will by the time you're done with the equation, but for now, it's just representing an unknown number. And then we've got some number -4 equals 10. Now, looking at this one, you could probably figure this out without doing any fancy formula work. What -4 equals 10, or you could reverse it, 10 -4 equals what? A is probably going to be 6. But I'm going to show you the long way to do it just so you get comfortable with the process so you can do the really, really long ones. All right, so what happens here is we want to get the variable on one side of the equal sign and a number on the other. That means we need to get rid of this number right here. It's in the way. So we're going to start with adding 4. Right now it's -4. We want to zero that out. So we're going to say +4 because -4 + 4 is 0. And that's what we're going for. We want that gone. But that means we have to do something with it. So we're going to add it over here. Whatever we do on one side, we have to do on the other. So if we add or subtract here, we have to do the exact same thing on the other side of the equal sign. So again, this is 0, that's gone. That's essentially gone. And then 10 + 4. Oh, I gave you that. I did that wrong in the beginning, didn't I? This is why I don't do math in my head. And bring down the A. A equals 14. See, before I said it was 6. 6 - 4 would be 2. So you could do this kind of problem in your head, but you have to be better than me. I should never do math in my head. It's much easier for me to write it down. So that was a long way to solve this equation. A equals 14. Let's try another one. Let's try number 6. Again, we've got a variable and a number on one side of the equal sign and a number on the other. We want a single variable and a single number. That means we need to get rid of this 5. We're going to take it away because we want to zero it out. So -5. And that means we do the exact same thing over here. This is gone. That cancels out. That leaves us with n equal sign -9 plus -5. This is going to be a negative number. And then you just add the two numbers together, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. -14 equals n. It doesn't matter what direction these go. It's the exact same problem. Anything that equals something else, it can be either direction. It can be -14 equals n or n equals -14. Let me find another one in that vein. Let's try 3 and 8. So again, we've got a number on one side, a number and a variable on the other. We want just the variable. So we're going to get rid of that 2. We're going to take away 2. And when we do that, we have to do the exact same thing on the other side of the equal sign. This cancels, those are gone, leaves you with h. And 12 minus 2 is 10. The nice thing about algebraic equations is you can check your work pretty easily. You just take that 10 and pop it into the h. So this would be 10. And you've got 2 plus 10 equals 12. Nice. Super easy way to check to make sure you're on the right track. And another thing about variables, you can see we have h, x, r, z, y, k. The letter itself does not matter. It has no significance. It's just a placeholder for the number that you're going to solve for. So in this case, h equals 10. It could be x, it could be w. It does not matter what the variable is. Most books just use x. I don't know why this one has something different, but you know how that goes. All right, so 13 equals 7 plus x. We want just the variable on this side, so we're going to get rid of that 7. We're going to take it away because it's currently positive, because 7 minus 7 is 0. That means we have to do the exact same thing over here. We're going to take away 7 from 13. X is all that's left over here because this is gone, equals, and 13 minus 7 is 6. So 6 equals x, or x equals 6. All right, now they've changed it up just a little bit. See the difference? Here we had addition. The first one we did was subtraction. And you do the opposite of whatever they give you because you want to get that number to 0. So they gave us -4, we added 4. They gave us +5, we took away 5. And then we get down here and there's no plus or minus. This is a multiplication problem. So just like we do the opposite for adding and subtracting, we do the opposite for multiplying and dividing. And this is the same idea. We've got a number on one side, we've got a number and a variable on the other, and we only want a variable over here. Since this is 4 times y, we need to use division to get rid of the 4. So we're going to divide it out. 4y divided by 4 is just y. And we have to do the exact same thing over here. Divide 28 by 4, and that gives you 7. Let's try that one again. These are actually, believe it or not, faster to do than the adding and subtracting. But you also want to bulk up on your multiplication tables. If you can do through your 9s quickly without thinking, you are way ahead of the game. If you can do through your 12s, you're probably better than 95% of the population. So bone up on multiplication tables. It just makes things easier and faster. All right, here we've got -14 equals 2 times k. We need to separate the number from the variable. This is a multiplication problem. So we're going to use division to get rid of the 2, which means we have to do the exact same thing over here. 2k divided by 2 is just k. And -14 divided by 2 is -7. So k equals -7 or -7 equals k. Perfect. What do you think of those? Kind of fun. All right, let's do some more. It does not matter what order they put these in. As long as you've got an equal sign and you've got a number and a variable on one side and a number on the other, you're just fine. They can turn them around, they can put them upside down. You don't care because you're ultimately going to end up with one number and one variable. And it doesn't matter if it's number first or variable first, because either one of these is exactly the same. Both are correct. All right, so let's check this out. We've got a -6 times b equals -54. We need to get rid of that -6. We've got to separate these two. So we're going to divide out -6, which means we're going to do the exact same thing over here. Let's see how good I am with my multiplication tables. So this immediately cancels. -6b divided by 6 is just b. And -54 divided by -6, I think it's 9. Is it 9? 9 times 6 is 54, I think. Good Lord. It's been a while. You know what the best thing about the math test is you can use this. If you do not have one of these, see if you can get your hands on one. Walmart has them. You should not pay more than $16. Amazon's got them if you can order from Amazon. 54 divided by 6. 2. I did it. And I'm going to show you another really cool thing really quick about negative numbers. When you're dividing, multiplying and dividing. Sorry, that's my arm. So multiplying, dividing negative numbers for any equation. The good guy goes into town. It's good for the town. That would be like 2 times 2 equals 4. The good guy, let me straighten that out, that's crooked, leaves town. That's going to be bad for the town. That would be like 2 times -2 equals -4. The bad guy goes into town. Also bad for the town, right? And that would be like -2 times 2 equals -4. And then the last one, the bad guy leaves town. That's good for the town. And that would be -2 times -2 equals +4. Whoops, that's a terrible 4. And this is only good for multiplication and division. It does not work for adding and subtracting negative numbers, but it's a nice little cheat. If you, especially if you are nervous, sometimes it feels like your brain goes away on the stuff that you know. It happens to everybody. And so this is kind of a nice way to say, oh, that's right. If one of them is negative in a multiplication or division, the answer is going to be negative. If they're both positive or they're both negative, the answer is going to be positive. All right, let's get back to these guys. Here we've got negative 2s equals negative 26. So negative 2 times s equals negative 26. We need to separate the negative 2 and the s. So we're going to divide out the negative 2. As soon as we do it here, we have to do it on the other side. What we do on one side, we do on the other. Negative 2s divided by negative 2 is just s. Negative 26 divided by 2 is going to be positive 13. Bad guy leaves town, good for the town. Nice, good job, Wendy. So how do you feel about these? These are called one-step algebraic equations because you're only getting rid of one thing right now. We're getting rid of the number on the multiplication. We're getting rid of the extra number on the addition. And we got rid of the extra number on the subtraction. Now look at these. Not a big deal. These are even easier than everything else we were doing, believe it or not. These are division problems. We just did multiplication. So the opposite of multiplying is dividing. Therefore, the opposite of dividing is multiplying. I'm going to rewrite this so I've got a little more room. Negative and positive are terribly confusing. They're one of my least favorite things in math because it's something you have to think about every time, and it's super annoying. And if you're at all stressed, it just fades. That's a Z. I don't know why they use Z's. It looks like a 2. All right. Z divided by 5 equals negative 6. Again, we're looking to get one variable and one number. So this 5 is in our way. Since it is division, we're going to use multiplication to get rid of that 5. We are going to multiply this side by 5. We are going to multiply this side by 5. This cancels just like that. Gone. Leaves you with Z, and negative 6 times 5 is negative 30. Bad guy goes into town, bad for the town. You can check your work. If this looks like a strange number to you, pop it back in. Replace the Z with your answer. Negative 30 divided by 5 is negative 6. That's the cool thing about algebraic equations. You can check them super fast. Let's try this one. And this one, I think I have room. So we've got 8 equals R divided by 5. We're going to use multiplication to get rid of that 5, which means we're going to multiply this side by 5 and this side by 5. That cancels and leaves us R. And then 5 times 8 is 40. 40 equals R, or R equals 40. And we can always double check. We can pop that 40 right into where the R was. 40 divided by 5 is 8. How are you feeling about these? Is this new? Is this old, easy, old news, new news? We've got more. This is, and anyone who got my email has all of this. I put these in the email. And the nice thing is some of these have the answers on the back, so you can check your work. I'm going to go into something a little bit longer. Let's see. I want that. Now this one will do. These are the same exact thing. They've just gotten a little bit longer. And if this is new to you, do not panic, because next Monday we'll go over these things anyway. But when you're looking at this one, negative 30 equals 5z minus 2z. Let me get a drink of water. My voice is getting really raspy. Okay, so excuse me. Negative 30 equals 5z minus 2z. So all we need to do here is deal with these first. You can add and subtract variables if they are the same. Both of these are z. So 5 minus 2 is 3z. And bring down the equal sign and the negative 30. Now that kind of looks like what we were just doing. We're going to separate the 3 and the z by dividing it out. We're going to do the exact same thing on this side. 3z divided by 3 is z. And negative 30 divided by 3 is negative 10. Bad guy goes into town, bad for the town. Excellent. Now look at this. This is kind of a jump. This is distributive property. Whenever you have a number in front of a equation in parentheses, that's called distributive property. Be familiar with the term. GED will never ask you to define it. Distributive. But they will often have it in the instructions. They'll say, using the distributive property, anything that looks like this is distributive property. This one, that's distributive property. Hold on one second. I can hear something. There we go. Okay. So all this means is you're going to take this negative 4 and you're going to multiply it first by the 5 and then by the 7h. And you can multiply plain old numbers with variables. You would not be able to add and subtract. You can only add and subtract when they're the exact same variable like this one. You could not add 5 to 2z. And we'll talk about that more next week. All right, so what we're going to do here, negative 4 times 5 is the first step. That's going to be 20. Then I'm going to bring down the minus sign so I don't have to mess with it. Then we're going to do negative 4 times 7h. And that's going to be negative 28h. Negative 28h. I think this one was too big a jump. Equals 19. This is our new equation. Let me get another piece of paper. I'm going to run out of room. All right, let's try this again. It's going to be 20 minus negative 28h equals 19. Here's a little thing that you need to add to your list of things to memorize. And if you work with me, I will give you, every time there's something you have to know, you just have to commit it to memory. I'll tell you. And so keep a running list of things you just have to know going into any of the tests. And one of the things you have to know is when you have 2 negatives in a row, they turn into a positive. So if you've got, think of it this way, if it helps. You've got 2 negatives. This one's going to come over here and cross this one, and you're going to get a plus sign. So when they're just back to back like this, negative, negative, or minus negative, it's going to turn into a plus sign. So that means we've got 20 plus 28H equals 19. Now, we cannot add 20 to 28H. You cannot add a plain old number to a number with a variable. So we need to get rid of the 20. Right now, the 20 is extra. We want to get it down to just the 28H and then just down to the H. So let's get rid of this 20. We're going to take it away. So it zeroes out on this side. Boom. But we're also going to do the same thing over here. And that is going to give us -1. Bring down the equal sign, bring down the 28H. I don't like this problem. It's not going to be pretty. Now, this looks more familiar. We've got 28 times H. We're going to divide out the 28, which means we're going to do the exact same thing over here. Don't like that it's a fraction. I much prefer to teach whole numbers when you're learning. That leaves us with H, because those cancel, equals -1/28. Don't like that one at all. I can double check that answer, make sure I didn't screw it up. Ah, look what they did. Yep, they made it a decimal. Don't like those. I'll find some better ones. Because you should start with whole numbers. You shouldn't have to deal with this until you're really comfortable. All right, let's try a couple of these, see if these work. Let's do 16. We've got 3x minus 12 minus 5x. This one's a little different. Equals. This one's a little bit different because you don't have something on the other side of the equal sign. So we're going to combine like terms. 3x minus 5x. You can do the arithmetic with those because they have the same variable. So 3x minus 5x is -2x. And then just bring down the -12. There's nothing you can do with it. There's nothing to match it to. And that's your answer for now. Because they didn't give you anything on that side. You cannot calculate that problem out because you have nothing over here to take from. I did not pull good ones. I'm going to go back to the other page. I don't like this page. It's too big a jump. So let's go back to this page. These again are just the one step. These are everywhere. All right. Here we've got 2 times D equals 12. We need to separate the 2 from the D. So we're going to divide out the 2, which means we're going to do the exact same thing on this side. 2D divided by 2 is just D. 12 divided by 2 is 6. You can check your work by taking your answer and plugging it into the variable. So 2 times 6 is 12. Did it right. Awesome. Let's look at number 6. This one is an addition problem. 12 equals, I'm going to get rid of that negative. We're just going to do a positive number. 12 equals 3 plus R. The 3 is in the way because we want a number on one side and a single variable on the other. So we're going to get rid of that 3. We're going to take it away. And we're going to take it away from this side. This is gone because it's zeroed out, leaves us R. 12 minus 3 is 9. That one's probably not bad. The way it was originally written, I'll do it. I changed it. I took the negative away. Let's try it with the negative and see what happens. In this case, we still need to get rid of the 3. So we're going to add 3 because we want it to 0, which means we're going to add 3 to this side. This is gone, leaves us R. 12 plus 3 is 15. And that's the difference between 12 equals negative 3 plus R or 12 equals 3 plus R. You just do the opposite of what they give you because you want to zero out that extra number. All right, let's try B minus 4 equals 9. Again, the 4 is what we're after. We want to get rid of that. So we're going to add 4 because negative 4 plus 4 is a big fat 0. That leaves us V. We have to do the same thing over here. Add 4 to the 9. Bring down your equal sign. And I believe that's 13. And you're done. And you can plug it in to check your work. 13 minus 4 equals 9. All right, let's do a couple of multiplication and then division. And then I think we'll wrap it for today. And we'll have a chat about what you want to see in the future. All right, here we've got negative 4 times Z equals 32. Does not matter what order you do these in. Let's get rid of this negative 4 by dividing it out. We're going to separate it from the Z using division, which means we are going to divide 32 by negative 4. That cancels, leaves us with Z. Do not know why they use Z. They look like 2s. And then 32 divided by 4 or negative 4 is going to be negative 8. And that's bad or good guy. Good guy leaves town, bad for the town. What did I do with my little sheet? Good guy leaves town, bad for the town. So when you've got a positive and a negative, your answer is going to be negative. If you have 2 negatives, your answer will be positive. And then the one that we're all familiar with, positive, positive, positive. Nice. All right, let's do this one. Oh, it's the same as the other one. Let's not do that one. Exactly the same, negative 4 and everything. Let's do these two. These are division problems. We're going to use multiplication. So we need to deal with the 6. We're going to multiply this side by 6 to get rid of the 6, which means we're going to multiply this side by 6. What's negative 12 times 6? That's going to be 72, I think. Negative 72. These cancel, 6 times 6. And leaves you with H. H equals negative 72. And then this one, multiply both sides by the 2. By the 2. These cancel, leaves you with Y. And negative 7 times 2 is negative 14. All right, let me switch cameras. Okay, what'd you think of that? Good, bad, indifferent? Need more, need less? You can type it in the chat or you can unmute.
It's very good and very helpful.
Excellent. And for the people that were here at the beginning, I gave a little spiel and I'll give it to everybody who's here now. Oh, thank you, Stephanie. Awesome, Wendy. We will we'll focus on algebra on Mondays until you're comfortable with it. It's 55% of the math test. So if you're strong in your algebra foundations, you're not going to have a big problem with the test. If you can get through all the algebra, you don't have to worry if they give you a ridiculous story problem using fractions. It's the big piece is algebra. That's the basis. So as long as you're strong in algebra, you don't have to worry about some of the detail work, you know, ratios, fraction problems. You need to be able to do them, but it's a little less concerning when you're strong in algebra. We will also, once we're done with algebra, we'll move into geometry. Geometry seems to be the one that gets left out. It's often, like I teach at the local community college, it's the one subject that gets put at the end of the term. And by the time we're at the end of the term, sometimes there's no time to hit it. So it's important to be comfortable with the formulas. That's all that geometry is. It's all formulas. Some of them are complicated, some are not. And the formulas will take you right into the science test, and that'll be no problem for you. If you have a good handle on formulas, you'll be fine in science. On Tuesdays, I'll do language arts and social studies. It's a combo because the two tests are very similar. There are certain things you have to know for language arts, like you've got grammar. That's not going to show up on social studies. And then in social studies, you'll have tables and graphs, maps, political cartoons. Those things don't show up in language arts. There's even a tiny, tiny bit of math on social studies. So those things I'll pull out and make sure you're comfortable with those. But the bulk of both tests is reading comprehension, reading something, answering questions about it. And so I'll give you the tips that you need to pull the information out. And sometimes it's just easier to eliminate answers than to try to find the right one first. If you can get rid of 2 out of the 4, you're down to 50%, which is much better odds. Wednesdays, we'll do science. And I'll go through all sorts of stuff. Punnett squares, chemical equations. There's a lot of reading in science as well, but there's some very specific things that you have to know that aren't necessarily easy to learn if you're just picking it up in a book. So we'll work on that. And if any of you need, yeah, it'll be at the same time. Once you're signed up, so all of you today, you're signed up because you've got the link. You're signed up for all of them. You can show up Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. You can skip them. You can show up for them. It does not matter. And if you do end up getting your GED and you want me to stop emailing you with all the homework, just let me know and I'll pull you off. But if for anyone who wants to get their test done quickly, like you have a time limit, let's talk, because I teach one-on-one and I teach groups. These classes are all free. We'll generally do one big topic per class. If you and I are working together, we're going to do exactly what you need to pass the test in as little time as possible. So, oh, good, Sarah. I'm so glad. Sometimes it helps to see it and hear it. And then you've got lots of practice problems. And the ones that we were doing have answers on the back. Work on those. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. The pages I sent are from yes@getthatged.com. You can just reply and I will get those emails, and I will get you other things if you feel like you want more of the one step. I have tons of resources. My God, I've got millions. You can't see my notebooks, but I've got books full of GED stuff. So I will help you, because you might as well go in, get that test, take it, pass it, and go on to the next big thing in your life. Don't let this be the block. All right. Oh, absolutely, Maria, show up. Show up for social studies on Tuesdays. You'll get some language arts also with that, but I will be going over the specific social studies stuff, and science is Wednesday. So come on Wednesday. You can skip Monday. You don't need math. Oh, wait. You pass social studies and science. Show up on Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday, you're free. Angelina, I will make sure I get that sent to you. And if anybody didn't get an email, it's from yes@getthatged.com. Check your spam. And if not, if I just somehow totally missed you, just yell at me. You can even message me on Facebook. Yes, once you are signed up, I will send you the recordings. So you're good. As long if you're registered, you're going to get it all. Let's see, make sure I've got everything. Yeah, same time. All right. Any questions or anything you want to see? If not, I will let you all go. I'll see some of you tomorrow for language arts and social studies and Wednesday for science. Same time, same link. You've got it. I will definitely get that to you. They're anywhere from 30 minutes to 60 minutes. It depends on how many questions. We'll do one big thing every class, one big concept. So yeah, 30 to 60 minutes. And Sarah, I will get you some information. Yes, we're going to do slopes. We're going to do the equations first, because these equations can get pretty long. This is the foundation, what we did today. If you are comfortable with that process, with the adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing, the equations get longer and longer and longer, but it's the exact same process. Your goal is to get it down to one variable, one number, that's it. And so you just do a step at a time, and you take one of those long ones and you shrink it down. After we're done with the equations, we're going to move into graphing, and that is slope intercept, point slope. There's 3 formulas. You really only need one. I will teach you all 3, but I'll show you how you can just use one. It's much easier. And it's all on your sheet, on your GED sheet. I will make sure everybody gets that too. I'll send you the GED cheat sheet that you'll be able to use during your test. So. All right. Well, everyone have a good day. Yeah, Maria, this is the basics of algebra. And if this is comfortable for you, you're going to fly through it, because this shows up everywhere. Shows up in geometry, shows up all over algebra. It'll be in graphing, it'll be in quadratic equations, it's in inequalities, it's in all of it. So this is probably the most important piece. Get comfortable with this, then we'll make them a little longer. You'll get comfortable with those, we'll make it a little longer. You'll get comfortable with those, and then we'll start graphing. All right. I will see you all again, I hope. And if you have any questions, email me. You can message me on Facebook or Instagram. I'm somewhere on TikTok. I need to figure that out. If any of you are good at TikTok, we should talk. And other than that, have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.